Welcome back to MurrayMax. We got another Charlie Kirk video here. Been kind of on a run with Charlie Kirk videos, but I believe that there's been so many of them because he's wrapping up his campus tours, and I think he's been to something like 27 or 30 different campuses in the last little while. But this video, the context of it, says a cruel student doesn't want conservatives to be treated like humans. And so, as usual, I haven't watched the video. We're going to watch it together, so let's give it a look.
Yes, ma'am. Again, anyone in the crowd, you can work your way up if you disagree. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. I have two main points I want to talk about. So first off, I want to know your opinion on January 6th and the pardoning of... Okay.
No, that's a legitimate question.
Okay.
The pardoning is a legitimate question.
What's your opinion on that?
Everyone should be pardoned.
Okay, here is my thing I'm going to say about that. My father is a police officer, so if you're saying that someone injures him or kills him in the line of duty, I should support pardoning them?
So actually, that's not my position. My position is very simple.
You just said your position is everyone should be pardoned.
Well, hold on. Allow me to finish. I said everyone should be pardoned, but not because of what they were accused of doing, because they were deprived of due process. And here's the kicker, that the January 6th defendants were put in pretrial detention for nearly 2 years, many of whom were not given attorney representation. One attorney in particular made his defendant go...
That's something that people need to keep in mind too. Trump didn't just come along as soon as they got arrested and say they should be pardoned. He took people that had been sitting in a cell for well over 2 years and said, basically, enough is enough. You skipped over some due process here. Nothing happens to the left. I mean, it was a whole, quote, mostly peaceful, fiery, but mostly peaceful summer of BLM riots where more than a dozen people were murdered, more than 100 police officers were injured. They firebombed and burned down a complete police station, et cetera, et cetera. And the left was setting up GoFundMes for bail money. And then Trump comes along with these people, some of them that didn't have an opportunity to even have their day in court. Some of them were even in a jail cell for months before charges were even brought against them to even start fighting or even enter a plea. And for her to take this and say, so you're saying that my dad is a police officer, if he's attacked or killed, nothing should happen. And it's like, they got over 2 years in jail. At what point, and by the way, none of them killed a police officer. Remember when the media tried to run with that narrative saying that they, beat a cop to death or something like that? Or that then it was that they hit him and he had a heart attack. It's like the guy died at a different time somewhere else, but he was there to begin with. The whole thing was just ridiculous. But let's see, put in the comments what you think about this. This idea that these people were just pardoned and nothing happened to them. I promise that if each of you spent over 2 years in jail without complete due process, you wouldn't consider that nothing.
Watch videos saying that MAGA is brainwashing you and say, go unbrainwash yourself before the trial. A complete violation of the 5th, 6th, and 7th Amendment. What I'm getting at, though, is that would you agree with the premise that if the tree is rotten, the fruit will be rotten?
I don't even know what you're referring to.
It's a metaphor.
No, my turn. So
No, it's not your turn.
I want to know if you think that what they did, storming the Capitol, in your opinion, is that right or wrong? Yes or no?
Well, it depends.
Yes or no?
So they were only
yes or no?
peacefully
Yes or
storming
no?
the Capitol. Hold on a second.
Please just yes
Peacefully.
or no. Yes
They
or
didn't
no?
all do the
you
same
agree
thing,
so
that
it's
that
not a
was
yes or
good
no
thing
question.
that they did, or a bad thing?
Can I?
Yes or no?
Can
You can answer yes or no.
Well, yes, and I'm answering it. Yes, because not everybody did that. So, for example, Siaka Massaquoi took 3 feet into the Capitol, said a prayer, and went out. Do you agree he should be hunted down by federal officials for 3 years and face 10 years in federal prison? Yes or no? Yes or no? Answer. Yes or no? Okay, so you say yes. Got it.
So a guy is supposed to get 10 years potentially for taking a couple steps inside of a building, saying a prayer and leaving, but BLM rioters and people like that and Antifa shouldn't get any prison time for burning down neighborhoods, looting stores, flipping over police cars, lighting them on fire, et cetera, et cetera. The left has just completely lost it. It's unbelievable.
So, but however, I think what happened on January 6th, there was a lot of stuff I don't support. However, they were treated so terribly by our own government as political prisoners. Here is the truth. Even if you go do something as evil as shoot school, you deserve 5th, 6th, and 7th Amendment protection rights. These January 6th defendants did not get their basic constitutional rights protected. They literally had to sleep on the ground of the D.C. jail as January 6th gulags. You look at these pictures, they had to go sleep on like the floor with no food for days, acting as if that this was some sort of Moscow internment camp. What President Trump did was very simple. This was a statement towards the justice system. You guys did not treat these people, who some of which did very bad things, with basic constitutional due process rights. It was a part in wiping the slate clean, saying even the person who does the grossest thing should be able to have the same rights of due process and the presumption of innocence of somebody who did absolutely nothing wrong. That's the position of the pardons. Joe Biden may be...
I mean, if you think about it, there's been people throughout history, there's been people like Ted Bundy who got due process, you know, and he's a serial murderer. And then there's somebody who was, according to their geolocation on their phone and their flight itinerary and stuff, that was at the Capitol, who doesn't get due process, and the left says, good, give him 10 years, good. This has gone way beyond reason. It's gone way beyond sanity. And we're dealing with one side who, it's funny how conservatives always show up to debate and they have things to say and points to make. And then when you look at the opposition on the other side, they have those big horns. They have signs to block your camera with. They have whistles to blow. They have mindless chants to endlessly repeat. It is not the same. There's even an old video, I think it was one of Caitlin's videos, where she took a liberal from the liberal side over to the Trump side, and they were welcoming him with open arms, and they were saying, hey, you're good, you can come in with us, you can wait in line with us. They were going to a Trump rally or something like that. Then they took that same person to the liberal side, and it was like megaphones in your face, people shouting, people like screaming things at them, people, you know, banging signs in front of the camera and stuff. And it's like, this couldn't be more clear. I mean, it's like, I've never seen people in MAGA hats blocking a freeway. I've never seen people in MAGA hats looting and burning a Walgreens down. It's just, the whole thing has gotten crazy. And there's clearly one side that behaves a certain way and clearly another that behaves in a completely different way. I've never seen, you know, Trump supporters or conservatives, you know, shouting down a speaker on a college campus. And then all the jokes come up, you know, well, that's because they're all at work. It's like, well, they're really not all at work, because a lot of them work for themselves or even have remote jobs just like anybody else. They just don't dedicate their time to blocking a freeway in exchange for, you know, gun laws or something. It's just, the whole thing is just backwards. And we really need to just kind of like be realistic about who's doing what. There's one side that is just dominating the side of vandalism, looting, rioting, and it ain't the right, that's for sure. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm going to keep pumping out some more videos. Like and subscribe if you want. Thanks for tuning in to MurrayMax.